All right, sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to make sure that I don't make the file too large. I find that the easiest way to do this is to upload these to Vimeo, and then I can send them through to Telegram. If anybody has a better suggestion, then feel free to let me know. All right, but anyways, what I was getting at is that here's a range, and then here's also pretty much a low of that range that I'm delineating. So, come here. All right, cool. Now, so, and also what we want to keep in mind is that, right, remember everything is about liquidity. From here to here, right, this push up, price moves down, pushes up even higher, right? We gotta stretch the chart out to see, right? So that high is higher than that high, right? So price pushes up, and then we get a lot of displacement, right? We get a strong move away, right? So now when we consider from this here to that, right? Well, what is the first swing within the range, right? This happens to be the first swing within the range, right? So price is highly probable to raid this particular portion of price, right? And you'll see where a smart money trap or how this high gets induced earlier today, right? So once again, this is a liquidity sweep. Price moves away, right? Liquidity is engineered within the range, and even if let's measure the range and see where we are. So let's go from here to here. Right. So at that point, we're just reaching that would be the equilibrium price, and if we take that, then we see 62% is just above, right? So when we think about OTE, optimal trade entry, OTE is relative to this little block of price here, right? And OTE, right? It's not just a fib level. It's when we apply time also, right? So now moving back down here, right, after price sweeps liquidity, right, we get displacement. Liquidity is provided in the range. What I was getting at was, here's a dealing range, right, from low to high dealing range. Sell side swept, liquidity engineered within the range. Buy side swept, right? So now what is the most highly probable thing that price will do, right? We'll come back in the range. We've swept external, right? Now it needs to come back in the range and grab internal, right? All right, so we see this move here happening. They sweep that sell side liquidity. 3, does not necessarily need to be liquidated because we have liquidity provided before 3, right? So you could have taken those entries and you could have targeted. First target would be that high, right? That's a 1 to 3, and then next target. Actually, let me not say a 1 to 3, right? Because we don't know if price will. Now you can be aggressive and play with that, but I would be more prone to just come here. And if price reaches well below here, typically what you can do is when you have buy side liquidity that's provided up here, price should not at all reach below 50% of this. If it does, then 9 times out of 10 you're wrong. So what you can do is you can bring your stop here, right, and you can play around with that, but you will be safe here simply because there's enough buy side liquidity provided here to where price does not need to push all the way down here, right? So at this point, that's a 1 to 2, right? Highly probable 1 to 2, and then here, right, we have a, we can say a 1 to 4, right? All right. This is all line in session. So price pushes there, takes that, and then we get the move away, right? So now New York Open has happened. And we're pushing. All right, here's the smart money trap, right? So what they do is they sweep these highs, right? They sweep those highs. Here's the order block that most smart money traders will see, right? Price responds to that order block, right? Here's our SMC trap, right? SMC trap. Now keep in mind, the reason that price ran this high is because when we look at this range, from there to there, this is the very first swing point within the range. So look, remember what our rules are. Our rules are always the safest entry will come from 4, right? What do we have? Let's check out our swing high formation. 1, 2, 3. Structure's broken, right? 4. Expansion. Alright, so there's the SMC trap. What time is it? It is now 7:30, right? Remember, 7:30 typically false moves. Now here we go. 7:50 at 8 o'clock. Let's come to a 1 minute time frame. Alright, cool. So now this move happened in that 8 o'clock window, right? Let's look at a 5-minute chart. Alright, so now we have mainly we have, you know, everything that we typically look for. Maybe, and we should probably you know, look at that order block there that's sitting above that high. But anyways, so price gets inside of this OB, right, and you can see it does not close above the 50% level, right? That's just a general rule. And then price moves away very fast, right? Now I'm going to ask you guys, at this point you need to think, right, what is not provided in this displacement? So we have everything we need. We have buy side liquidity swept, right? Once again, we have another level of buy side liquidity swept, and we have displacement, right? We have a liquidity void. But what's not provided in this area is buy side liquidity. Remember, if price wants to reprice lower, it needs to grab buy side liquidity and then expand lower, right? Well, in this case, what we have is a push up, down, they sweep buy side liquidity, and then they just get away, right? So now, where is the only buy side liquidity located? The only buy side liquidity that's located is here, right? So if there is no liquidity provided, then we do not want to be the provider, right? So now, in knowing this, we stay away from this move, right? Because we understand that 8:30 is probably going to give us a trap, right? Boom, there's your trap. All right, so DC, you asked why did I take my entry, right? This is a time and price entry, right? So I'm understanding that price has now swept this high. It swept that high. So it swept that high, and I'm looking at this order block here, right? I'm looking at this order block, right? It swept that high, and it's tapped into the range of this order block, right? Remember, this order block was used, right? This was the initial. This is where price. So you have to sell, buy, right? Which swept that liquidity, right? So this order block is significant. Now price taps into that order block, all right, and let's look at the response after tapping into that order block. All right, here's where you don't. This is when you don't necessarily need to wait on a break of structure. All right, so my entry came. I'm sorry, I moved a little too fast. All right, so this is what we call tape reading. All right, so when this high is swept, right, this high gets swept at 8:30, right? We're already in the extreme portion of the range, right? We're anticipating price to move lower, right? And what I see is price sweep this high. First bar closes back within the range. Right? Second bar closes within the range. Now, this here is the highest up close candle. So as soon as price trades back, as soon as price trades through this candle, remember I said up close candle, not the high. I'm just talking about the close, because if we take sometimes you guys you have to look at price like this, right? All right, cool. So now when price trades back within the range of this candle here, let me put the wicks back on. As soon as price does that, we can take the trade, right? So here's what this looks like for me. Right, so right here, right, as soon as it trades back within that, we can take the trade, right? Because when price sweeps this high, when it sweeps this high, closes back within the range of the high, right? And then we get an engulfing candle, right? And I say engulfing as retail terminology, but basically what I'm getting at is once price trades through the range of this candle is now solidified as an order block, simply because it swept liquidity, price traded through it, right? So now when price reaches that candle again, right, we can now take the trade, right? So my trade literally came when price tapped back into that order block. Now, what are we targeting? Well, of course, we're going to target this low here. Remember, buy side liquidity should run for sell side liquidity, right? The ultimate area of sell side liquidity is here, right? Now, at first I was considering hedging, but we always have to be considerate of time and price, right? So I want you guys to just watch how this move plays out. All right, now right here, boom, boom, right? They kind of give us a little swing high, right? Right, they attack that swing high and they push away. And I want to say price comes into here at some point today. Or is it on the 3 minute? Yeah. Alright. And they push away. Right? They grab buy side, sell side liquidity. That sell side liquidity fuels it up. Now, here's what I want you guys to pay attention to. On this move, up, down, right? Liquidity void. See? On this move, up, down, engineered liquidity, right? Even in here too, but this is more probable. Down, right? Now the next step, let's take out internal range liquidity. We have an PD array resting just above. All right. So if you didn't understand that entry, here's where your next entry could have been. Right? Look at that right there. Right? So you could have entered here, right? You could have took a safe stop above there, or you could have took an aggressive stop there, right? First target should be right here, right? Look at where price is responding from, guys. The equilibrium portion of the range, right? Sensitivity, and then price pushes one more time. 930, 948. And here's where they're just playing around. Now we're in that London close time. It is already 10:45, 11. Right, price. The chances of price just turning around and coming up here is over with. Right, so this now can be seen as equal lows, relative equal lows. This low, so price is probably is more probable to attack those lows. Now, if you were thinking buys like me, you were not wrong, because if you look on a 1 hour time frame, we have down, up, down. So here's a breaker that rests right over true day open, but the volatility is behind this sell move right here. And then price gets away. Yeah, so that was the EU breakdown, EU price action for today. Not gonna go into gold for the sake of time, because I still need the chart and I have to spend some family time. So I said I'm gonna try to get these out to you guys earlier. Once I can get my trading office set up, because we just moved. Once I can get it set up like I wanted to, and I'm gonna purchase one of those virtual screens, not virtual, but a vertical screen, so that it'll make it easier for me to just interact on Telegram with you guys throughout the day as I'm trading, and I'm not flipping back from my phone to the laptop to the desktop. It'll just make things more efficient. So you guys just bear with me. I'm gonna keep refining to bring more value to you guys, but I hope this breakdown worked. The biggest takeaways is understanding that even though this move has displacement, there is no liquidity provided, right? This move here is similar to this move here, right? But liquidity is provided there, right? Sweep it, move away, right? So we have sweeps of liquidity, displacement, and what we want to see is liquidity provided within that range, right? If not, then we're probably going to be the liquidity provider if we try to trade that range, right? The other key takeaway from today is understanding that from a high to a low of a range, right, typically the first swing point created within the range, which happens to be this, is probably 95% of the time going to be induced, right? So you don't want to take trades from this area. This is going to be the SMC trap. Boom, 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 right? And then the other takeaway from today is understanding that if context is present, right, which in this case context was present, we had time 8:30, we had price at the extreme portion of a range, we had a swing high that was induced, right? On the lower time frame, we see price trading through this high and closing back within the range of that high. As soon as the bullish candle gets traded through by a bearish candle, any return back to that bullish candle, we can take sales. But I don't recommend you guys focus on that now. It's a little advanced. We need to understand a little more in terms of context building. But DC asks, why did I take that? Why did I take that trade today? And that was why, right? I didn't need to wait on the breaker structure. So I hope that this video provided some value to you guys. I will have another one sent out tomorrow. I'll try to get them done by at least 5 p.m. New York Eastern time.